Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Short PSA, this video, like others in the past, has two stories and both of them have updates. Now let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Am I the Buttface, and it's by user Zuper0561456. Am I the buttface for not letting my boyfriend be the hero while we were getting mugged at knife point? My boyfriend is a big hero fanatic and does everything in his power to be like one. It's really endearing and it's one of the many things I love about him, because he wants to be the good he wishes to see in the world. But this mindset he has is why we are fighting right now. One night we were staying at my apartment and he suggested we go on a night walk since we'd been getting stir crazy from being inside all day. I was hesitant because we live in a bad neighborhood, but he assured me he'd protect me. On our walk, we were cornered by a man with a knife that demanded our wallets. I remembered John Mulaney's Street Smarts bit from the Netflix show and was going to throw my wallet past the mugger so we could run away. But my boyfriend started arguing with him and was spouting off a bunch of stuff about justice and how the mugger wouldn't get away with this. It looked like he was getting ready to fight. I was a bit taken aback by this, and I guess the mugger was too, because it gave me enough time to take the important stuff out of my wallet while he was distracted. I interrupted my boyfriend's monologue and said, "Take it, just don't hurt us," and threw it behind the guy. When he turned, I grabbed my boyfriend's hand and we booked it back to the apartment. We got home safely and I was relieved that we were okay, but my boyfriend was fuming. He was pissed that I interrupted him from protecting me when he could have, in his words, clearly handled it himself. I told him he could have gotten himself killed. He said that he was obviously stronger than the mugger and would have won. I explained to him that the guy had a weapon and my boyfriend didn't, so the odds were stacked against him. Not only that, but I didn't want my boyfriend to get killed over a damn wallet. We argued for longer than necessary, so I shut it down and told him we could talk about it when our adrenaline wasn't so high, but I needed to file a police report while the event was fresh. He stomped off to our room while I called the cops. When I was off the phone, I went to sleep with him, but he rolled away from me. The next day, he was still angry and had already told his friends and family about what had happened to us. I thought that they would be understanding about how I handled it, but they were mad at me for not letting him have his opportunity to be a hero. His mom even ridiculed me for emasculating him. I want to reopen the conversation so we can understand each other and move past it, but if he isn't receptive, I'm going to ask him to move back in with his mom. I want to understand where I went wrong, if I went wrong, but honestly, I feel like he's being childish and unreasonable. I just want to know, am I the butthole or is he? Well, OP, to me it sounds like your boyfriend is a delusional butthole and his friends and his mom are just weird or delusional as well. What the hell is wrong with them? How could they support him standing up to a mugger with a knife to protect you? Him and you could have both been seriously hurt. That's not cool at all. Unless you're some sort of untouchable martial artist or something like that, that people just can't hit you with a knife, not even by mistake, then there's no way he would have gotten out of any fight, no matter how much he could have controlled the situation without getting hurt. I think, OP, that the way that you handled the situation was the best way, absolutely, hands down, no questions asked. And by the way, a quick side note on your mother-in-law, how did you emasculate her son by actually getting him out of a dangerous situation? Anyway, OP, like you say, I think you need to sit down with your boyfriend and open up this topic to understand what's really going on here. Hopefully, it'll help him gain some perspective and understand that what he did was very dangerous and irresponsible. Anyways, what do you guys think about this whole situation? Do you think OP did the right thing, or do you think she should have let the boyfriend handle the situation like he wanted to? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Deleted says, not the buttface. Tell effing Justice League over there that life isn't a movie and that anyone who fights someone who has a knife are guaranteed 100% going to get cut regardless of if he trains Krav Maga or how many Marvel movies he's seen. I told him 100 times that a fist wouldn't win against a knife, but he wouldn't hear it. I don't understand how people in his life encourage this. He could have died. Sweet Panda Cookie says, send him back to his mother's to sulk there because that's what he is doing, sulking. He insisted on going on a walk in a bad neighborhood at night, knowing the chances of something bad happening were high. He put you at risk. His response is childish and pathetic. How do you know that it was a real mugger and not a setup to prove to you how hero-like he can be? I honestly wouldn't stay with him. I don't see the hero worship endearing. Just means that he doesn't like himself very much. It's tied into his self-esteem, so when you wouldn't let him be the hero, in his eyes, you smashed his sense of self and purpose and self-esteem. He's also sexist as hell, wanting to save you, dear lord. His hero fantasy is escapism at best and damaging at worst. Wannabe Superman needs some therapy. Also, don't listen to all that sexist BS. Your quick thinking got you both out unscathed. Emasculated, my R's, not the butthole. And Opie responds, you know, I really don't think he'd stoop to set up a fake mugger, but at this point, I don't see how the hell he can react the way he did, since this was a very real thing that happened to us. We still haven't talked about what happened yet because he went to visit his mom, probably to sulk like you said. But these few comments are making me reevaluate a lot of his values when it comes to this hero crap. I didn't even consider the sexist undertones to everything, so thank you for pointing it out. Help me, I'm just Egg, says, oh for sure, the guy might be dead, but at least he wasn't emasculated by his girlfriend. Not the butthole. And if my boyfriend tried to do something like that, I'd leave him, because life is not a movie or television show. That's beyond stupid, childish, and irresponsible. His stuff is not worth his life. Stuff can be replaced. Your literal life cannot. What if he was alone with your hypothetical imaginary child and he tried a stunt like that? Even at my college campus, the security makes it very clear that if you're being mugged, just give them your stuff. In every job I've had where I was handling cash, management also made it clear to not try and play the hero. Let your boyfriend move back home to mommy. Maybe she can help him feel more manly. And Opie responds, he's been at his mom's all day, and I haven't bothered to contact him until I've sorted this whole situation out in my mind. I didn't think a breakup was in the cards at first, but now I can't imagine staying with him if he can't see what he did wrong. Additional information from Opie's comments. The whole hero dream was hard to describe with the word count limit on this sub. To make more sense of it, it's not necessarily the Superman dream like it seemed, but more just being a good person. Cliche walks the old lady across the street, returning a lost child to their mom type of stuff. He's always helping out people without expecting anything in return. I feel like that might be why his friends thought he could handle it, because he handles all of their stuff when they ask. Now, the monologue was definitely over the top to say the least. Makes the whole experience seem surreal and weird, despite being terrifying. I'm just glad it surprised the mugger as much as it surprised me. Also, I considered getting a concealed carry permit because of where we live, but my boyfriend is against the idea of me having a gun. He thinks if he lives with me permanently, then that's enough to keep us safe. Ugh. Finally, I just want to thank everyone who has commented. It relieves me to know I'm not insane. He's still at his mom's house because I haven't heard from him, nor have I tried to reach out. All of his friends have ghosted me too, except for one of them, who is trying to mediate. If I don't hear from him tonight, I'll reach out tomorrow. I plan on updating in the comments depending on where this goes. Again, thank you to everyone for sharing your thoughts on this. Alright, well, it seems like the community gave OP a lot to think about, and that's what she's doing right now, and then she'll reach out to her boyfriend when she gets everything straight. So how about we move on to the update to see how this thing went. But of course it's that time in the video where I tell you guys about another one of my playlists like this one that only has videos with updates on them. Now let's move on to the update to this story. So he called me last night and I answered. He asked if I was okay and how I was doing. Then he asked if he could come over and I said he could. I planned on bringing everything up again myself because he had been very passive aggressive and refusing to talk about it. But when he showed up, he immediately started apologizing. Everything you guys pointed out, he started agreeing with. He was saying that he was being delusional, unrealistic, the whole hero fantasy isn't healthy, he jeopardized my safety, and that wasn't okay, etc. I wasn't prepared for this behavior, especially compared to how he'd been acting all week. We talked for hours before we went to bed together and everything seemed like it worked out fine. I was really on the verge of ending this, so it was a relief I didn't have to at that moment. Then this morning came and crap hit the fan. In a comment on the last post, I mentioned that a friend was trying to mediate. I texted that friend that things work out and they said something along the lines of, I'm so glad you were able to apologize. Some people mentioned that maybe he told a different story, which isn't something I looked into, but I decided to ask, and oh boy, am I glad I did. Firstly, he told everyone that the night walk was my idea. Then apparently, we were never mugged. Nope. Apparently, I just started talking crap to a stranger on the street in an attempt to make him show he was a strong man and protect me. And the only reason we were able to get away was that he de-escalated the situation and that it was emasculating because he was put in a position where he felt like he was forced to fight for my honor. Are you effing kidding me? To make a long story short, he tried to play dumb and backpedal this morning when I confronted him about it, and then when I pressed him to be honest, he snapped again and said, "What was I supposed to say? The whole situation was embarrassing and it was going to make me look bad." We argued again for a bit, but I was just done. I told him to go and that it wasn't gonna work. He didn't have much stuff, so it was easy to put in a spare grocery bag and to just toss it at him while he angrily left. He's currently outside of my complex waiting for mommy to pick him up. Thankfully, we have separate friend groups. My friends know I'm not full of crap like this. Some of them were never fond of him from the start, so they're glad that the relationship is done. I don't care what his friends think, and they probably won't believe me. I think the mutual friend we had will tell everyone the truth, or maybe not. I did send his mom proof of the police report and then blocked her number. I don't really want to hear from her or her son again. A few people have brought up the idea of him staging this, but I don't think he did. That's just too crazy, at least to me. Plus, the mugger was surprised when he started going off. Even if it wasn't staged, I think his wanting to be in a situation like this oddly makes sense. That's the vibe he's giving off right now, at least. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, I dodged a bullet. F his friends, F his mom, and F him. Thank you for opening my eyes, Reddit. Well, OP, I'm gonna call this as a happy update, cause like you say, you dodged a bullet. If it was staged or not, what he did was not cool. It's a good thing nothing happened to you, and now that you're out of that relationship, you can move on. Thank you so much for sharing, OP, and all the best in the future. Now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user OppositeLeg2854. Am I the a-hole for not inviting one child from my daughter's class to a party? My husband, 29 male, and I, 28 female, have a daughter, Peyton, 7 female. Peyton goes to a small school with 20 kids in her grade. Her birthday party is next month and we sent out invitations to her friends at school. We invited the whole class except one student. The student we did not invite has bullied Peyton several times. We've had meetings with the school and parents. Obviously, Peyton doesn't want this kid at her party. The other girl's mother called me to talk about it, saying how now her daughter is crying because she was the only kid not invited and everyone at school is talking about the party. Peyton's parties are known by her classmates to be very over the top. I explained that her daughter isn't nice to my daughter and that's the reason she wasn't invited. The mother knows this. The mother said I'm teaching my child to be a bully and use her wealth to make friends. I disagreed. The mother then asked that if she had her daughter apologize and write Peyton a letter, could we reconsider? I told her we would not, and it has become a very big deal every time I see the mom. Am I the a-hole? Well, OP, in my opinion, no, you're not the a-hole. It's your daughter's birthday party. She gets to decide who comes and who doesn't. And if she doesn't want a girl who is mean to her to come to her house and be at her party, well, then that's her decision, not anybody else's. Now, I think that the other kid writing a letter and apologizing to Peyton is a great idea, but that shouldn't mean that she gets an invitation right away, because then that would be the wrong lesson to teach. The lesson here for that other girl is that consequences have actions, and if you're a douche or an a-hole to other people, then they probably won't want to hang out with you or invite you to their birthday parties. So yeah, not the a-hole OP. And what do you guys think about this situation? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Inevitable Okra 3229 says, not the a-hole, and here's why. Your daughter has every right to feel safe at her party. This is the thing this girl is going to miss out on, and she's upset about that, which I guess is understandable. But here is the thing. Mom didn't offer an apology before the party, didn't pull her kid in line before the party, and when it was brought up repeatedly with the school. She is only doing it now because her kid is the victim. My main reason is that your kid deserves not to be walking on eggshells at her party, and I absolutely loathe when parents continue to put their kids in contact with their bullies and abusers. Children or not, your child deserves to feel safe. BenjiCat17 says, a forced apology so her daughter can attend a party is not an actual step forward. She was aware her daughter bullied your daughter and did nothing. Inviting her to your daughter's party will be upsetting for your daughter and will be rewarding her for her bad behavior. Stick by your original position and do not invite her. If the mother is so concerned about her daughter being included, she should focus on her daughter's bullying and prevent it in the future. But it's not bullying to exclude your child bully from a party just because you have fancy parties. It's literally the consequences of her actions, and the mother should be using this as an example of what happens when you bully, not the a-hole. Charming Tax 2311 says, not the a-hole. The bullying has been discussed in the past with the school and the parents. She knew her daughter was a bully and only went to rectify the situation when her daughter was being excluded because of it. You can't seriously expect a child to invite the one bullying them to their birthday. That's just silly. Teach your child to not be a bully, and then maybe others will want to be friends with them after they sincerely apologize. This other mom needs to realize the person her daughter is becoming and help her be better before it's too late. Good on you for holding firm on this. OP's Edit. Thanks for all the comments. I'd like to clarify some things. The invitations were not handed out in the classroom. I handed them to the parents directly. Also, I've seen a few people ask exactly what kind of bullying has occurred, so I'll give a couple of examples from last year and this year. One time, Peyton came home crying because the little girl was so mean to her, telling her she wasn't pretty, too chubby, etc. Peyton has come home crying several times because the girl has told her there's no way she's a cheerleader. Peyton does cheering on weekends because she wasn't pretty. She told Peyton she couldn't play with the rest of the girls in the class when they were all playing jump rope at recess. The other girls told her to let Peyton play, so when it was Peyton's turn, the girl purposely got her out by not swinging the rope nicely. The teacher saw that happen. She's called Peyton a crybaby. And these are only a couple of the incidents that happened. Also, I totally understand where many of you are coming from. I'm not against her apologizing. She can apologize whenever she wants to. However, that doesn't grant her an invitation. We talked to our daughter about how she might apologize, and my daughter has already told us she won't accept an apology because the girl has said sorry multiple times and it continued. I think the only way my daughter will ever forgive her is with actual changes. My husband and I both agree we should never force our child to forgive someone because then it's not genuine. We also have agreed, after reading everyone's comments, that this little girl currently is not welcome in our home. I won't say never because who knows, the girls could be friends one day, but certainly not anytime soon. Actions speak louder than words. I wouldn't invite someone in my social circle to a party if she was mean to me, and I'm not going to teach my daughter to be a people pleaser either. She has feelings and they are valid, even at 7. She is my priority and this birthday will be amazing. She will enjoy it without having to worry about the girl who bullies her being there. Finally, the teacher and the school have been amazing in helping with this situation. The school itself has a very clear policy they use amongst all grades. The teachers give out pink slips. An X amount of them causes a detention, an in-school suspension, a suspension, and then expulsion. They also have a counselor there to talk to the kids through these situations and make sure it's bullying and not just kids misbehaving. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and OP gave us a lot more context regarding the bullying and regarding her daughter's feelings. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Peyton's party was today. She had so much fun. The student that was not invited did show up, but did not make it past the community gate. In our neighborhood, you have to have someone at the gate in order for people to enter. We had face painting, balloon animals, a bounce house and obstacle course, a magic show and character appearances. We even had a life-size Barbie box for pictures and pink everything. There were activities for the kids to do and everything was a hit. Also, thank you to the commenter who suggested swag bags. We did have them and the kids loved it. Well, OP, your daughter got the birthday that she wanted and her bully wasn't there. I think that it sucks for her that her mom dragged her to the gate of where you live and couldn't come in, but that's on the mom. Anyways, thank you so much for sharing, OP, and all the best to all of you in the future. Take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.